everyone. I am Suvina and I have just passed my 10th standard in this school, and today I am here to explain the play, very famous play written by William Shakespeare, that is The Merchant of Venice. So first we shall start the play by introducing the characters of the play. So the first character we have is Antonio, who is a very important character of the play. Antonio is none other but the Merchant of Venice. He is the one who, after whom the play got its title, that is The Merchant of Venice. So though the play got its title from Antonio, who is the Merchant of Venice, we cannot literally term Antonio as the hero of the play, because he does not possess the characters of a hero, like he is in sad mood and he is very soft spoken man, and also later in the court scene we come to know that he is not so mentally strong. So therefore it would not be right to consider Antonio as the hero of the play. So the second character we have is Bassanio. Bassanio is Antonio's closest and best friend, and he is also the man who is in love with Portia. We'll come to know later who is Portia. So then we have a very important character known as Shylock. Shylock is a rich Jew of Venice. He is also a merchant of Venice. And after Antonio, if there is anybody who is rich in Venice, that is Shylock. So, and Shylock belongs to the Jewish race. So there are two merchants. One is Antonio and another Shylock. So Antonio belongs to the Christian race and Shylock belongs to the Jewish race. And now we came to know that Shylock belongs to the Jewish race and Antonio belongs to the Christian race. Then we can automatically come to know that Antonio and Shylock were enemies. And let me tell you one thing, the story was written during the Elizabethan era, and in the Elizabethan society, Christians and Jewish people were enemies. So we can later come to know in the play their enmity. Then next character we have is Jessica. So Jessica is Shylock's daughter. Jessica is Shylock's daughter and she also belongs to the Jewish race. Though Jessica is Shylock's daughter, but she doesn't love her father and does not have any care or concern for her father. We also find later in the play that she does not have any loyalty to her father. She is even ready to change her Jewish race because she does not like her father at all. Then next character we have is Tubal. Tubal is Shylock's close friend and also he belongs to the Jewish race. Then next character we have is Lancelot Gobbo. Now who is Lancelot Gobbo? Lancelot Gobbo is the servant of Shylock. Lancelot Gobbo is the servant of Shylock. So this is just in the first half of the play. After he turns to be the servant of Bassanio. We'll study in detail later why Lancelot Gobbo gave up Shylock's service and joined Bassanio's service. Then the next character we have is Old Gobbo. Old Gobbo is father of Lancelot Gobbo. So he does not have any consequence in the play, but his character is just taken to make the play amusing. Then we have the next character is Portia. So Portia is the rich heiress of Belmont, and we later come to know her characteristics in the play. Now we can just tell that she is an intelligent lady. And she is also in secretly love with Bassanio. Then we have the next character is Nerissa. So Nerissa is lady in waiting of Portia. we have to say that Nerissa is lady in waiting of Portia. Then the next character we have is Gratiano. So Gratiano is a very amusing character in the play who will light us up by his jokes. So Gratiano is friend to Antonio and Bassanio. Then we have next character Lorenzo. Lorenzo is also quite important character in the play because he is in love with Jessica. He is in love with Jessica, who is Shylock's daughter. And as Lorenzo belongs to the Christian race and Jessica to the Jewish race, it later hardens Shylock's attitudes towards the Christians, and it causes many consequences in the play. So we can study it in later. Then we have another two friends named Salarino and Salanio. Though they are not important in the scene, but still they serve some functions for the play. We can study them later. So now we can just introduce them as friends to Antonio, Bassanio, Gratiano and Lorenzo. Then we have Leonardo. Leonardo is the servant of Bassanio. Leonardo is the servant of Bassanio. Then next, Salerno. So Salerno comes at the climax of the casket scene. He is a messenger from Venice. He is a messenger from Venice who gets Antonio's letter to Bassanio at the climax of the casket scene. Okay, these were quite important characters. Still there are two important characters. One is Prince of Morocco and another is Prince of Aragon. So these are two of three characters who have tried their luck to win Portia's hand. So we can call them as suitors to Portia. Though there were many kings who came to Belmont, but only three tried their luck to win Portia's hand, and Prince of Morocco and Prince of Aragon are two of them. Then we have servants of Portia. Servants of Portia, namely Balthazar, and Stefano. So other than these, there are also many merchants involved in the play, and also in the court scene there are many officers of the court, and also the jailer, then musicians who play the music in Casket Story, and also there are many servants of Portia and also other attendants of Prince of Morocco, Prince of Aragon and Portia. So now where does all the play take place? The play takes place only in two places. One is Venice and another is Belmont. Venice is a city in Italy. If you go to the world map, you will find a city called Venice in Italy. But Belmont, there is no place literally called Belmont if you go to the world map. But this is just a romantic and peaceful imagination of Shakespeare, and the word Belmont literally means really beautiful. Shakespeare has shown Belmont as a peaceful and romantic place. But it is very unlike Venice. Venice is very unlike Belmont, because Venice is a cruel business center, whereas Belmont is a peaceful center. So the whole play takes place in Venice and Belmont, and there is also a contrast between these two places, that Belmont is a peaceful and romantic place, whereas Venice is a cruel business center. So next, now we shall go to the play. We shall see the play in detail now. So we will begin with Act 1, Scene 1. Act 1, Scene 1. So we'll look into the scene briefly, then we shall go in detail. So first, let's see it in brief. So this is an introductory scene which introduces the important characters of the play. Just we have seen all the characters of the play. So there are many important characters like Antonio, Bassanio, Greciano, Lorenzo. So this scene, this introductory scene introduces some of the important characters. So first the scene starts like this. Antonio, he is with his two friends Salarino and Salanio. So first the scene starts only with Antonio, Salarino and Salanio. First Antonio seems to be in sad mood, and he himself does not know why he is sad. His friends Salarino, Salanio and later even Greciano, who enters into the scene, try to give many reasons why Antonio is sad, but nobody is able to make the reason of his sadness. Then after that, Antonio and Bassanio are involved in a conversation where Bassanio comes to Antonio for a request of 3,000 ducats to present himself as a befitting suitor at Belmont to win Portia's hand. So now we shall go to the scene in detail. The scene takes place in Venice. So this is very important where the scene takes place. Venice in a street. The scene takes place in Venice in a street. So at first there are three people in the scene: Antonio, Salanio and Salanio. So let's see what Antonio tells. Antonio tells that in fact he does not know why he is sad, and this sadness depresses him, and his friends Salarino and Salanio are saying that it even depresses them. He don't know from where it came or what it is made of or from where it originated, but he only says that this sadness makes him a dull man, that he is even getting difficulty to recognize himself. So now Salarino and Salanio try to give various reasons for his sadness. So first we'll see what Salarino says. Salarino says that his mind is focused on the sea where his rich merchant ships are sailing. So, and he also compares this rich merchant ships. Rich merchant ships. Rich merchant ships to rich aristocrats. And also to the noblemen who are involved in a grand procession. Salarino is comparing the rich merchant ships of Antonio to the noblemen who are involved in a grand procession, and he also calls them as gorgeous spectacles of the sea, and also as they speed past the smaller ships go before them as a mark of respect. Then Salanio tells that if he had been in Antonio's place, then most of his attention would be at the transactions overseas, and if Salanio would be in the place of Antonio, then he would always be pulling and throwing up the grass to check the direction of the wind, and he would always be looking into the map piers and channels, and if he see any object which might suggest misfortune to his ships, then it would definitely make him sad. So then now Salarino elaborates his speech and tries to give some reason that if he blow on his hot soup to cool it, then that act would make him shiver like fever. What harm strong wind can cause at sea? And he could not see the sand run from one half of the hourglass to the other half without being reminded of the shallow waters and the quicksands. If he would be a merchant, then he could not see the sand run from one half of the hourglass to the other half. So when he would see the sand in the hourglass, then he would be reminded of the shallow waters and quicksands. Quicksand present at the sea. And thinking about that moment, he could also imagine the disaster which these shallow waters and quicksand could cause to the ship. So, and at that time he imagines that if any disaster could happen with his ship, then presents an imaginative scene that his ship lie buried in the sand with her mast top, and he is presenting it as with her mast top lying down her sides, and as if the ship is kissing the sand in which she is buried. Then if Salarino would go to the church and he would look at the holy building of the church, then he would be reminded of the stones and the rocks present at the sea, which if touch the sides of the Gentile ship, then of course would scatter all the rich cargo of the ship, and this rich cargo would serve as dresses for the roaring waves of the sea. And thinking about this moment, thinking about the ship, rich merchant ship loaded with rich cargo, a person is owing so much. But next moment, when you think of the disaster, all the rich cargo is scattered, then the next moment the person is owing nothing. So thinking about this, at one moment you are owing so much, you are so rich, and the next moment you owe nothing. So thinking this, it would not make him sad. So he concludes that Antonio is sad because of his merchandise. Then now Antonio opens his mouth to reply. So let's see what does he tell. Antonio tells them, believe me, I am not sad because of that. And he thanks his good fortune for that because his financial status is not dependent on one ship nor at one place. And his financial status does not depend upon the transactions of only this year. So he is a very vast businessman. We can come to know vast merchant, and therefore he concludes that his merchandise doesn't make him sad. Then next, Salarino asks whether Antonio is in love. Antonio rejects it by saying shame. This shows us that Antonio is a very unromantic man. Antonio is a very unromantic man. You can even add this in the character analysis of Antonio that he is a very unromantic man, and you can give this example how he rejected that he is in love. Then next we have Salarino. What does he tell? When Antonio rejects that he is not in love, then Salarino tells that if you are not in love, then we will conclude that you are sad because you have no reason to be happy. And it would be as easy for you to laugh and jump about. And if somebody asks you, why are you laughing and jumping about like this? You would say, I have no reason to be sad, and therefore I am happy. Now Salarino, by two-headed Janus, the Roman god, he swears that nature has made two types of men. He swears by the Roman god. Janus is an Italian word. That nature has made two types of men. One is the serious and another is the foolish man. And Salarino even elaborates this serious and foolish men. So first he tells about the foolish men that they always look out through their eyes and they even laugh foolishly at a bagpiper play. And what does he tell about serious men? That they will not even open their lips to smile even when the grave master tells that smile is good or laugh is good. So now we have another character. It's not literally the character of Merchant of Venice. There is a reference to Grave Master. We will just take it as Nestor. Grave is just an adjective to define his character. So Nestor comes in Greek mythology. We write here. Nestor comes in Greek mythology. So let me tell you one thing, as this play was written during the Elizabethan era, so a lot of Elizabethan beliefs are included in the play, and along with that there are a lot of references to Greek mythology. So this is one. So Nestor is a character that comes in Greek mythology. So let's see about him in brief. So he is an old and wise Greek general. Old and wise Greek general. And he was a very serious man. So therefore, in elaborating the serious man, the name of the Nestor has taken. Okay, and we are still looking in detail. We can there is a war known as Trojan War in Greek mythology. If you read it, so he was one of the wise Greek general who fought in the Trojan War. We also later in the play this Trojan War again comes. We shall see into it. Then who fought at the Trojan War, and if Nestor laughed at something, it must be extremely funny. So therefore Shakespeare is comparing the serious man to Nestor, because if Nestor laughed at something, it must be extremely funny. So now they drop the topic of Antonio's sadness for a moment, and Salanio tells Bassanio, Gratiano and Lorenzo, Antonio's close friends, are coming. So now he tells that they shall leave Antonio with a better company, and Salarino tells that he had stayed till Antonio had become happy, but if worthier friends like this Bassanio, Gratiano had not prevented him. And Antonio tells that he have high regards for them, for Salarino and Salanio, and it is their own obligation which calls them, and they take this as an opportunity to leave. So now, and Bassanio, Lorenzo and Gratiano enter to the sea. So now Bassanio, Lorenzo and Gratiano enter to the sea. Bassanio, Lorenzo and Gratiano enter to the sea. So first they greet each other, how we greet, like good morning and all, my good thoughts. So they greet each other, and Bassanio tells Salarino and Salanio that they have become like strangers to them, and therefore Salanio assures that we shall meet you at your leisure. And then after that Salarino and Salanio go out. So now Antonio, Bassanio, Lorenzo and Gratiano are left in the sea. So now Lorenzo tells that since Bassanio has met Antonio, Gratiano and he shall leave them till the dinner time, but ask them to meet them at the dinner time. And Bassanio assures them to meet them at the dinner time. So now Gratiano notices Antonio, and as Antonio is in sad mood, so Gratiano notices Antonio and asks why he is sad, and he makes out that he just imagines or assumes that Antonio is deeply worried about the worldly affairs, and he also adds that people face losses when they are much worried about their business. So now in reply to this, we have the famous dialogue of Shakespeare, that is, this world is a stage where everyone has a role to play. This is a very nice dialogue and it's very famous. The world is a stage where everyone has a role to play. is a sad man. So now in reply to this, we can hear some amusing talks of Graciano, which have some sense but they seem to be nonsense. And Graciano tells that he is playing the role of a sad one. The I will prefer to play the role of a fool. He will prefer to play the role of the fool. So now let's see what Graciano says. He will be cheerful and laugh till the age of wrinkles come to him. The wrinkles are nothing but the wrinkles which appear on one face when one laughs, and he would rather heat his body with wine than cool his spirit with cries of depression. He would rather heat his body with wine than cool his spirit with depression. So here comes an Elizabethan belief that drinking wine warms the liver, and the liver which is enriched with wine produces rich blood. And cooling his spirits with cries of depression nothing means what it means is that, so if you are sad, if you live a gloomy life, then blood is taken from your heart. It is an Elizabethan belief. The blood is taken from the heart and it may even cause death. So this line, I would rather heat my body with wine than cool my spirit with cries of depression, presents as an Elizabethan belief that a liver enriched with wine produces rich blood, and living a life grooming, it takes the blood from heart and may even cause death. So then next, he says that why should a man with warm blood flowing in his veins sit like a statue made of stone marble? So this statue is the stone statue which is built on the grandfather's tomb. So Graciano is comparing why should a person sit like that statue with warm blood flowing in his veins, and why should a person be sleepy during the waking hours? And next question is, why should a person develop the symptoms of disease like jaundice just because of his ill temper? So this presents another Elizabethan belief that jaundice. So jaundice is a disease which turns the skin yellow, and Elizabethans believe that jaundice, this disease was caused due to ill temper, that is jealousy. This jaundice was caused due to jealousy. So Elizabethans believe that the disease jaundice is caused by jealousy, and here Shakespeare has referred to it as peevishness. And this just suggests how our mind affects our body. Then he tells Antonio that he is telling all this, he is giving all this speech just because he loves Antonio, and it is his love for Antonio that makes him speak all this. So then he comes to another thing, that is reputation of wisdom. So men who keep silent do that in the aim that they earn a reputation of wisdom. So they to earn a reputation of wisdom and to be called as Sir Oracle. Sir Oracle is the embodiment of wisdom. I think even he comes in the Greek mythology. Yeah. No need to elaborate about him in detail. Just you can remember is that Sir Oracle means the embodiment of wisdom, and he also compares that when to be called as Sir Oracle, and when they speak, nobody else should speak, and such men earn a reputation of wisdom only when they are silent, and when somebody hears them talking after a long time, their ears would earn damnation in hell to call their brothers as fool. So now they have decided to leave Antonio and Bassanio alone. Then he tells that he shall continue this advice after the dinner time, some other time, and at lastly he advises Antonio not to use this bait of melancholy to catch a worthless fish known as popular opinion. So it would not be appropriate to describe Antonio's mood as sad mood. You have to call it as melancholic mood. So this is a very appropriate word to describe Antonio's mood, that is melancholic mood rather than sad mood. So next, Graciano asks Lorenzo to come with him, and he tells that he finished his good advice after the dinner time. And just now we'll see what Lorenzo says. Just Lorenzo tells that they shall leave Antonio and Bassanio till the dinner, and also he adds that he must be one of the silent men whom Graciano had just referred. So Graciano just referred the silent wise men who want to earn a reputation of wisdom. Lorenzo tells that he must be one of them because Graciano never allows him to speak. Because Graciano is very talkative and cheerful, so therefore Lorenzo never gets a chance to speak. So next, Graciano tells that you will have forgotten how your own voice sounds like if you live with me another 2 years. Then Antonio tells them farewell, and also Antonio assures that he'll become a talker because of Graciano's advice. And lastly, Graciano says that silence is praiseworthy only in two things. One is the ox dried edible tongue, and another a girl who does not have any chance in the marriage market. So after this, Graciano and Lorenzo leave. Then after this, Graciano and Lorenzo leave. Then Antonio and Bassanio are involved in a conversation. Now Graciano and Lorenzo leave, and now only Antonio and Bassanio are left. And Graciano tells that silence is praiseworthy only when ox is dried edible tongue and a girl who does not have any chance in the marriage market. So Antonio asks Bassanio, is that the truth? And Bassanio tells that Graciano speaks only of an idle talk and more than anybody in whole of Venice. And then his words have 2 grains of sense hidden in 2 bushels of nonsense. And he also compares his talks to an proverb. His reasons are as 2 grains of wheat hid in 2 bushels of chaff. And this is a proverb which means that something which should not be given importance, it is given. And he also adds that you may search for a thing which whole day, but when you search it, you come to know that it is not worth being searched for. He is comparing this to Graciano's talks. How it is compared? So let me tell you. Now Antonio asks Bassanio, is that the truth? It means that Antonio is wondering about what Graciano tells. So that is that if you wonder about Graciano's talks and you try to think upon it and you try to understand it, but when you understand it, you come to know that they are not being worth of understanding. So that is what it means. Then next they come to the main topic, that is the topic of Portia. We'll see what is that. Antonio tells Bassanio that he had promised to tell him today who is the lady for whom he is going on a secret pilgrimage. And then right now Bassanio does not answer this question of Antonio, but he takes up some other topic. So let's see what does he tell. He tells that Antonio knows, you know how I have squandered my means by living a very fashionable style than his modest resources can afford. But he does not complain of dropping such a lordly style, but his main aim is to come out of the debts that he owed to Antonio. And he owed Antonio both in money and in love, and his friendship gives him such confidence that he can reveal all his schemes and intentions to Antonio. And this confidence also gives him the hope that he can come out of his debts that he owed to Antonio. Then Antonio tells that if his scheme is as honorable as Bassanio, if your scheme is as honorable as you yourself are, then all his body, his money and all his resources are at his disposal. So now let's see what Bassanio tells. So when Bassanio was at school, when he would shoot one arrow and he would lose it, he would shoot another arrow in the same direction. But this time, while shooting the second arrow, he would be more careful. And often risking the second arrow, he often recovered both. So he is quoting this example him another loan, then he will not only able to bring back his second loan but also all his previous loans. But if at least he could not bring back all the other loans, he could bring back his second loan and be thankful for the first loan. Now Antonio tells that, Bassanio, you know me well and you are just wasting your time by beating around the bush. So he asks him come to the topic, and he knows his capability. He is always ready to help you. So he just asks him to speak. So then Bassanio answers the question of Antonio, whom he hoped to go on a secret pilgrimage. So he tells that there is a rich lady in Belmont and she is left with much riches. She is beautiful and has wonderful qualities. So just during the character analysis, we saw that Portia is an intelligent lady. So now we can also tell that she is both intelligent and beautiful, and we can still come to know her characters later in the play. And he tells her name is Portia, who is no less wonderful than Cato's daughter, Brutus' wife Portia. Cato's daughter. So this is the reference to another mythology, maybe Greek mythology, I am not sure of it. Then Brutus' wife, Portia. So the Cato's daughter name, Brutus' wife name is Portia, and he is comparing Portia to them, that she is no inferior to Cato's daughter or Brutus' wife. And he also adds that her merit is not unknown throughout the world, and all the famous suitors from every corner of the world come to Belmont to try their luck for her. And if he had the chance to try his luck, then he would surely be successful. Then Antonio tells that all his money, so therefore Bassanio wants 3,000 ducats. 3,000 ducats. 3,000 ducats. In exam, I will write this 3,000 in words. So, but Antonio tells that he does not have any ready money to help Bassanio. So, therefore, he asks Bassanio to go to someone else in Venice and borrow the money, and Antonio shall stand security for him. So, Antonio tells that go to some other, borrow the money, and I will be standing surety for you. So, this is the end of Act 1, Scene 1.